The next segment is about peoples and empires. The illusion is, in this video, this part of the film contrasts the clear evidence for civilizations mentioned in the Bible to a declared lack of evidence for Book of Mormon cultures. The Old World evidence is presented by showing impressive archaeological remains. For the Book of Mormon, the narrator begins by discussing the Jaredites. The Jaredites are promised that they will become the greatest nation on earth. As this statement is read, the film pans to a countryside that is empty of any identifiable human influence. The film's expert, Murphy, then declares that no traces of it can be found. Now, unmasking this illusion. Of course, the makers of the film give no indication of what the it is that they were looking for and did not find might be. Certainly, they could have found something to film other than an empty countryside. I live in New Mexico, which has large tracts of empty countryside. Filming that while suggesting that Albuquerque did not exist would be an interesting visual illusion, but would obviously be incorrect. What are they not telling us about the Jaredites? They have avoided two major points. The first is that the geographic correlation in Sorensen's work suggests that the land of the Jaredites corresponds to an area within the isthmus of Tehuantepec. The Book of Mormon tells us that in this location we should find major civilization with advanced architecture and political structures, and that we should find them by at least 1200 BC. The Book of Mormon tells us where to look and what to look for. The second important bit of information withheld from us is that the Isthmian region is the location of what has been called the mother civilization of Mesoamerica, which was present in that area since at least 1200 BC and earlier. The culture has been given the name Olmec. What they called themselves is unknown. The Olmec undertook massive building projects and developed an artistic style that influenced Mesoamerican art for centuries. In the Mesoamerican region, which would have been their whole world, they were clearly the greatest of the nations. While it would not be accurate to equate the Jaredites with the Olmec, it is certainly plausible that the Jaredites participated in that culture. The Book of Mormon predicted an ancient high civilization in a certain location and time. Archaeology has found one that fits the geographical, architectural, and temporal description of the Book of Mormon. The film never mentions the Olmec. It never discusses the correlation between that culture and the geography mentioned in the Book of Mormon. The very evidence that contradicts their position is suppressed. Once again, we might generously assume that they were unaware of the best Latter-day Saint scholarship, but Murphy cannot make that excuse since he is certainly aware of it. Even though he disagrees with this literature, he intentionally oversimplifies when he says that no traces of the Jaredites can be found. Once again, in the film, too much of what the viewer can see is controlled by the agenda and not by the substance of a scholarly discussion. The stage magician makes sure you see what he wants you to see. The stage magician also makes sure that you do not see what he does not want you to see. The film is more illusionist than scholarly. Okay, more archaeological illusion. The film attempts to demonstrate that Mesoamerica cannot have any relationship to the Book of Mormon. Two experts are interviewed. Archaeologist Stephen Whittington of the University of Maine State. I don't know of any evidence that the Nephites existed in the Americas. And Murphy provides even more damaging opinions. The civilizations we find throughout Central America tended to a peak, find their great climax between 600 and 900 AD, well after the events described in the Book of Mormon. Unmasking this illusion. There is no way to know how much information Whittington has about the Book of Mormon. Likely he was unaware of Latter-day Saint scholarship on the text. Would Living Hope Ministries have informed him? One can best read Whittington's statement as an honest evaluation from someone unfamiliar with the whole picture. It is true, however, that nothing in the New World has been found with the name Nephite on it. Less explicable is Murphy's statement, which is completely accurate. The civilizations of Mesoamerica did reach their climax between 8600 and 900, as Murphy claims. This period is well after the close of the Book of Mormon. The statement is not problematic, but its context is. Murphy leads the viewer to believe that the late florescence of Mesoamerican culture precludes any early Mesoamerican cultures. Murphy must know that his statement is misleading. If he knows enough to make that cautiously correct statement, he knows enough to realize that he left out significant relevant information. While the high point of Mesoamerican culture occurs later, nevertheless, there were very impressive predecessors. Archaeology clearly demonstrates that there were impressive cities during the Book of Mormon times. The ruins of the Nakbe and El Mirador are massive sites with very impressive architecture that flourished during Book of Mormon times. All the aspects of the Mesoamerican culture and society that peaked during the late classic social, religious, architectural, and artistic were present in less elaborate forms much earlier, including in Book of Mormon times. In the regions where Sorensen suggests that the Book of Mormon took place, he has identified possible candidate sites that date to the correct period for the Book of Mormon and fit the geographic descriptions in the text. The pinnacle of Mesoamerican culture came later, but was built on a foundation that is known to have been in the area Sorensen suggests for Book of Mormon activities and during the correct time. Perhaps, however, Murphy's statement was pronounced innocently, and was pulled out of context by film's editors, who are certainly not above such a trick. Later in the film, they pull quotations from Gordon B. Hinckley and Daniel C. Peterson out of context. Whether Murphy himself or the editors created this particular deception, someone has seriously misrepresented the situation in Mesoamerica. Either the editors of Murphy, or both, have attempted to have us see something that is not really there. With a wave of his magician's rhetorical wand, Murphy's statement has made more than 1,000 years of Mesoamerican culture vanish into thin air. Okay, next come the machine illusion. Murphy notes that the Nephites built machines. The film displays the following verses from the Book of Mormon. And we multiplied exceedingly and spread upon the face of the land, and became exceedingly rich in gold and in silver, and in precious things, and in fine workmanship of wood, in buildings and in machinery, and also in iron and copper, and brass and steel, making all manner of tools of every kind to till the ground, and weapons of war, yea, the sharp-pointed arrow, and the quiver, and the dart, and the javelin, and all preparations of war. Jerome 1 and verse 8. Unmasking. Murphy allows a viewer's modern perceptions to color the way of the word machinery is read. Our modern world is so full of machines that we automatically equate that word with the kinds of machines with which we are familiar. Nevertheless, the fundamental definition of machinery from Webster's 1828 dictionary is a complicated work or combination of mechanical powers in a work designed to increase, regulate, or apply motion and force. A lever is a machine. It cannot be known exactly what machinery is meant in the Nephite record, but it need not be a modern equipment that Murphy seems to imply. So there you go.